Uh, Shalom, Yasha Allah, Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, man. Right? Shalom to the men, the women, children that are in this truth, man. Shalom to them all, man. Right? Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, man. Right? Haven't done a live in quite a long time, man. But in spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, hey, we're gonna go into it, man. Right? And right as we see, hey man, right, we see the days approaching, man. Right? If you haven't word to the brother, a caution, man. K Mitch, he said, hey, if it's hit 20, if you've hit 2024 and you ain't repented, man, right? But it's 2025, so cool, right? 2025 AD, right? But we're gonna get right into the precepts, man. Right? The mind, right? I've got a few notes as well, right? The mind, right, is right. The heart rather, right? It says the heart is deceitful above all things, right? And your heart in context, man, right, can be referring to what, man? Your mind, right? How you think, how you carry yourself. If your mind is not right, hey man, right? If your mind is not right, hey, it's a long, hey, you gotta get your mind right. Let's say that, right? If your mind isn't right, you gotta get your mind right, right? And if you haven't, woken up, man, what the hell are you doing, right? You're still in Christianity, right? You say, oh, Christianity, right, is not the truth, man. Right? Let's put it like that. So the mind is deceitful above all things, right? The mind is deceitful above all things, man. And we're gonna get straight into it, right? We're gonna read the Bible, right? So man, hey, if you see the day approaching, right, like it says, man, right, right. Let's get that in the book of Romans, man. We see the times, man. If you're not watching, what's going on in the world, what are you looking at, man? Some people they're looking at just women, right? All they want to look at is women, man. They don't want to look at the things of righteousness, man. And you can't fear what's going on, man, right now in the world. Right? It's high time to awake out of sleep. Right? It's high time to awake out of sleep, man. This is the book of Romans, right? Chapter 13, right? And I'm gonna start from verse number 1. Classic precept, man. Right? It's Romans 13 and 1. And that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Right? Because some people, right, they're still sleeping, man. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Right? And if you can kind of see what's going on in the world right now, man. Many things are taking place in the world right now. Right? You got wars, missiles being shot, right? Missiles being sent here, sent there, right? Many things, man, that are going on, man. Right? All praise to the Most High. God knows why that's happening, right? But let's move this, man, right? So, you know, many things are happening, right? But I'll read them. It says, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. The salvation, right, of the so-called Israelites, man, but their salvation is near, man, right? And, the prophecies, they contradict the people that are in the land today, right? And that's in the Bible. It's not my words. People don't get upset. You're gonna flag this. You're gonna send this there and whatnot. Hey, man, the salvation of the Israelites, hey, is near. Hey, it's approaching, man. Right? Let's go to the book of. Right, we got to pull up Second Ezra, man. Right, Second Ezra 9. right? Because to be delivered in that time, how do you think you're gonna get out? Right? Do you think you're gonna Superman your way out of Judgment Day, man? Right? And Judgment Day is not like some concept where man is gonna be you know hellfire, whatever Christianity may tell you. But Judgment Day, in the sense of, hey man, anyone's Judgment Day could be tomorrow for someone, man. Right? It could be tomorrow for someone. But let's read Second Ezra. This is Second Ezra, right? Chapter 9 and verse 1. Right? It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? And that's what's happening right now, man. You're beginning to see the Lord visit this place again. That's why you have these wars going on. That's why you have what's going on in Babylon the Great with the so-called Native Americans, right? The Hispanics, right? They're being abducted from their homes, streets, right? Even if whether they're illegal or not illegal, man, right? They're unjustly being delivered up, man, right? And just taken to concentration camps. Let's put it like that, right? So these are the signs of the times, man, and it shows the instability in how the Most High is working on the earth today, right? So even here, man, we read on. It says, verse 3, therefore, when that which like yeah, Second Ezra 9 and 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and the earthquakes and uproars that we're seeing in the world today, man. Hey, what's that? Right, everything that's taking place right now, man. It's what a time to be alive. Right, verse 4, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right, so these things that are happening in the earth right now, these were ordained to happen. Right, it's not okay. Some guy decided. Man doesn't have control over his what he does, man. The Most High puts the spirit on man to make the decisions that he does. Right. So let me just read this. That's why you have these. The Most High controls men. Right. He makes men do this. Right. He makes a man commit evil. Right. Hey, the Lord has done that, man. Right. That's a spirit that the Most High put upon man to go and do that. Right? It says, reading on, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, meaning it's set up, it's already set in stone. You can't change it. There's no you can't get in a TARDIS, right? You can't get in some TARDIS, right? Think you're Doctor Who or David Tennant, right? And go back in time and change what's already been set in stone. Right, it says verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginning in wonders and powerful works and endings in effects and signs. So the Most High, he's like a director, right? He directs, he's directing this movie, man, right? And let's see if I can search that word manifest, right? Right, the word for manifest, right? Don't need all of that, right? Let's see. Translation. Look up manifest. Right, that word for manifest. Give me some damn movie or something. Right, we just want the meaning of what manifest is bringing up film. Right, manifest is not just a film. Right, if you manifest something, it's proclaimed. Right, you might manifest wickedness upon someone. Which that's not really nice. In the sense of your own people, but we'll read what manifest is. Manifest means, right, this, it says, clear or obvious to the eye or mind, right? It's evident, right? Or plain. It also is, similar words for it is to display, show, exhibit, demonstrate, present, right? To reveal. Even another one, it says evince, which is to reveal, man. That's what the Most High is revealing, right? Through the aid of nations, man. It says so the endings in effects and signs, man. So the Most High, he's creative, right? That's why you see there's many sound effects, right? Sound effects, right? What's the other word that they use in the cinema, man? Right? Demolition. They blow stuff up, and that's what happens in the film, man. And the Most High is directing it. He's sitting back and he's sat in big seat, right? Saying, "Yeah, move this there, yeah." And Yahweh Shai is kind of saying, "Okay, yes, sir," and you move it. That's how it's going, man. Right? It says, verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works, man. So, your works and your faith, right? It says, and by faith whereby ye have believed. So your works and your faith, they're one in the same. Right? When you have faith, you're gonna have works. Don't just I have faith and you just believe for the sake of believing. You don't really believe. If you don't, and that's where it says it's weighed in the balance, right? In the balance, like myself and brother Tazapal, we're trying to find that precept, man. Right? It's weighed, man. So it says, shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils. And these perils we see, they're in the earth, man. Right? But that's not the topic today. But hey, that's what's going on right now in the earth, man. Right? It says, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I sanctified them for me from the beginning. So these things that are going on right now, hey, that's how it was supposed to be. Right? Why is this happening? The Christians are saying, oh well, why is this happening? Right? Oh, why is this happening? We pray for peace. I pray for peace. Right? The Israelites, they should pray for peace for their own people, man. That's what we need to be doing, right? But hey, man, the mind is deceitful above all things, and if your mind is not right, you're gonna get caught up in these the judgment that the Lord has set up, right? You do not want to get caught out there, man. That's why hey, repent, right? Just let's get that as well, right? Let's get that as well, right? The classic, man. Yeah, Revelation 3. You have to repent. There's no way you can go about thinking you're just gonna do what the hell you want to do, right? So this is the book of I think Revelation 2, right? I'm gonna kind of jump back and forth with the pretext. I believe it's Revelation 2 and 15 that I want, or Revelation 2 and 5. That's what I want. Right, I'll pray to the Most High, right? And if you're not like fasting, right, you're not praying, and you're not gonna make it, right? You gotta add that to your curriculum, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse number 5, and it says, "Remember, therefore, from whence thou art fallen, and repent and do the first works." Right? So what works is this? Works is a physical thing, right? You have to, it's an action, right? That word works, that's an action, man. Right? It's not by works. Faith is works, man. Right? Do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly and will remove thy candlestick out of its place, except thou repent. So hey man, you need to do something, man. You're just sitting back. Bicking back being bull, like you think you're damn one of these rappers, man, right? But I will pray to the Most High. So we have to strengthen our mind, man, right? In these times, like don't faint. You faint in these times, right? You're hey, don't be what's the word, man? Man up, man. Right? Let's put it like that. You gotta man up. You can't in the time of evil. Oh, I don't know what to. That's like in them zombie films, man. Right? Brother, me and the brother kind of talking about it, right? But You know, in them films, man, with the zombies and that, or them, you know, like Jurassic Park or whatever, man. You kind of have people that are like, and there's always a one character. Oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do? And they're always, you know, their mind isn't right, man. And there's always kind of that one guy kind of slaps him, hey, get the hell up, man. Right? You know, you don't want to have a mind like that, man. Right? And let's start from verse 9. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 24 and verse 9. It says, the fault of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. So, hey, the thought, your mind, what you think, hey, it's what you're thinking folly. Hey, you need to rebuke that because hey, that's sin, man. Because that's where all sin comes from, right? It starts from what your thoughts are. You're just thinking, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to get me 5,000 women, right? I need 5,000 women. I need 3 cars, Hummers. I need the drinks. Hey, that's you're setting yourself up for failure because your mind is set on things of the world, man. You're not set. Your mind's not set on the things that are above, right? Because that's greater than what we have here, man. These, you know, even the food we eat, man. You don't even know who's packaged it. Some nasty Edomite, man, right, or some Ishmaelite or whoever, man. They packaged it. They damn right wiping their nose. And they say, yeah, you eat that, right? You don't question that, man. But hey, the Bible, you question. Yeah, well, I don't know about the Bible, right? But hey, the thought of foolishness, right? That's sin, right? And the scorner is an abomination to men, right? Don't be a damn mocker, man. If you don't understand the Bible, hey, man, hey, you need to get your mind right and try and understand it, man. Ask for the Holy Spirit. And these Christians are saying, oh, do you believe in the Holy Spirit? We believe in the Holy Spirit, man. The Holy Spirit doesn't lead you to say we can eat pork. You know, we have a brother in Manchester, man, right? Brother Benaiah, right? He had a video. He spoke to this pastor, man. These guys on the streets, right? And he's just saying, I eat pork, but I don't sin. Which is it, man? Right? So his mind, right? That so-called pastor, man, his mind is bad, man. Right? So it says Proverbs 24 and 10. It says, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Right? So if your mind starts to weary and you start to say, well, I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, you already manifest that, man. So do you think you're gonna do it? Of course not. You're already setting yourself up for failure. You can't sit there and say, well, I'm always gonna be a loser. I'm always gonna be. Hey, well, if you say that, well, what do you expect? All right, well, you're not gonna be a winner, are you? Because your mind and what you're saying, because what you say out of your mouth, hey, that's power, man. The things you say to your kids, hey, that's power. Things you say to yourself, you look in the mirror, you think you're in Rocky, and you're saying stuff, hey, I'm gonna beat this guy up, right? That's the kind of the things, hey, that's power, man, right? And don't just say stuff and then not believe it, man. Right? Because hey, bro, some people say stuff, right, and it could be on the left hand side, and they do it, and that's wicked and that's evil, right? So it says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Because what the mind, like they say, what's that term, right? They say, yeah, this Jake said it to me at work, man. Right? They say, mind over matter, right? I'm gonna present this, right? They say, mind over matter. That's what they say. Right, let me see if I can show this. All right. And Shalom as well to any brother or sister that's joining. It says, so mind over matter, right? It says, used to describe a situation in which somebody or someone is able to control a physical condition, problem, etc., by using the mind. His ability to keep going even when he is tired is a simple question of mind over matter. So yeah, man, when he was, saying it was in the office or whatever where I work, it was kind of hot, man. And he's kind of saying, yeah, I asked him, he said, kind of done this, right? He's saying it's the mind over the matter, man. You just got to get done what you need to get done, man. Right? And even that, man, right? Let's look at the book of Daniel, man, right? The book of Daniel. Because, hey, man, what do you think the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man? What do you think they thought, man? Right? And yes, they had Hebrew names, man. Right? And I'm probably saying you don't know it. right? I believe it's Hananiah, Mishael, and right. What one more? Right, one more. Bro. You didn't get it, right? A patience arc, right? And we'll get the names. Don't worry. Right, Lord willing. Right, here we go. Yeah. Let me see. Right, you had Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Those are the names, right? But I was saying, yeah, I got it, right? But let's see how they use mind over matter, man, right? And it's not talking about some damn Professor X, right? Professor X, mind control, man, right? Like some damn wizard in a chair, and he controls, does this, and he damn levitates, man, and he controls the room, right? Like Charlie Clips, right? You sit there and you say yes, yes, yes. Hey, well, and you talk to people like they say, what's it, telepathic, right? This is fiction. This is somebody's mind. That's they've had a thought and they've got it from somewhere, right? But mind over mouth, right? And when I say fiction, I'm talking about that. You know, the Most High can he can communicate with you however he pleases, man, right? But let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 3, and these brothers, they had integrity, right? Their mind wasn't weak, right? Weren't weak, rather, right? So, you know, in the context of this, man, I'll get straight to the point, Lord willing. You know, these three men, right, Israelites, you know, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, right? They didn't want to bow down to the idols, man, that were set up, right? These wicked idols that were set up to make Israel fall, man, right? The Israelites fall just like they set up today to make us fall again, right? Into idolatry and sin. Yeah, hey, worship this, brother, right? These things, hey, they were set up just like it says in Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, man. These things have been of old. They're the same things that we see today, man, right? So it's the book of Daniel, chapter 3, and I'll start at verse number 18. It says, "But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." So what's that called? That's called integrity, right? And if you don't, you need to, in this truth, you have to have integrity, man. Don't be that yes man, right? Have integrity, man. Right? Men got to learn to have integrity. Same way with sisters, man. Have integrity. Something it's just it kind of it just doesn't fit my spirit, doesn't hit my spirit, right? I don't do it, right? So reading on, it says, "Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage, and visage is like the countenance, was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? And they were, you know, assimilated into that culture. That's why they had those names. Therefore, he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated, right? So they kind of turned up. You kind of got your oven. They turned it up, man. Those heathens, they kind of turned up some big notch like that, trying to heat it up, right? It says, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. So what the hell do you think was going through their minds when that was happening? You think they were giggling? You think they were giggling? Or they're laughing? Yeah. They might have been though. Might have been like, hey, praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. They call on Yahweh, man. Right? And they kind of, hey, this is it. Right? It says, verse 21. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen. So, men had hosen. Right? Men had hosen, right? As trousers. Right? And their hats and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So it kind of just put them in there, man. And that wasn't some damn peaceful you know action, man. That must have been hell, right? And this is a bad depiction, extremely bad depiction, right? These look like a bunch of just bums. Put it out there, right? But we're mature, we can see past that. But the point being is that that's what it would have looked like, man. They kind of threw them in there and say, yeah, that's that. What kind of goes through your mind? Jake today, you put a spider on Jake's hand, he jump, he kind of get, you lose his mind, right? But these things in our mind are they learned behavior. Brother Maka one, we kind of go into that. These things that we even a child, man, when a child is made to be afraid of something. But if I've seen a video, this little baby, kind of put a spider on his arm or a lizard, and it was just looking at the lizard, but it didn't get scared. So it shows you that these things are learned behaviors. Where a child gets scared of something, it's a learned behavior, right? So this is a learned behavior. But what was that going through their minds, man? They just kind of kept it together, right? So hey, they were in the fiery furnace. What do you think they were thinking? Oh, yeah, well, probably said, hey, call on your Yahweh and your shy, right? It says verse 21. Then these men were bound in, well, I'll jump down to 22. Therefore, because the king's command was urgent and the furnace was exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Right? See that? So, hey, they even killed one of these heathens. It says, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Right? And they're in heat right now. Right? And again, your mind over matter, man. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did we not cast three men down into the midst of the fiery furnace? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God, man. So, hey, man, they were delivered, man. Because what? Because they didn't faint, man. Right? And if you faint, like it says, your strength is small. Right? So you got to kind of, like I watched this video, man. Right? His man is talking about he takes his kids to jiu-jitsu, man, or martial arts. So they can lose, man. It's a controlled environment, but they can lose. He kind of builds their mind up where they lose, man. You know what I'm saying? So they're all right with it. So when they get older in life, that's natural, man. They take it out, then it is what it is. They win, then it is what it is, right? I read on. Proverbs, right? Well, I don't know. I don't really want the rest of that, man. But point being, your mind and what you think, man, that's what's gonna actually help you, man. So all praises to the Most High, right? So lucky, man. Right? So anyway, man, all praise to the Most High, right? Go to the book of Nahum, chapter 1, and let's go to verse number 7, right? We'll start at Nahum 1 and 7. It says, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust him, in him, Salakia. So, hey, man, and to trust in the Most High, you got to have a good mind, right? And you have to maintain your integrity. You can't be a pushover, yes man, and just say, well, forget everything I've done, right? Forget God, right? A lot of the time, man, you have your friends, man. They will try and test your integrity, man. Right? They see if your mind, they see, if, yeah, you still want that Hebrew stuff, right? They'll try and do that, man. Do you just sit, in some dark room on the Sabbath and shut your window like that, right? And pray? We don't do that, man. Right? This is Job chapter 2 and verse 9. It says, then his wife, and a lot of the time, a woman, right? Obviously, in this case, it's a literal woman, but that's what will stir up your mind, man. It could be a literal woman, right? It could be some doctrine, some sort of belief system, which they're metaphoric for a woman, right? And it could be your wife. It could be your wife. Are you really keeping that Sabbath day stuff? She'll test your mind, man. She'll see, do you have your integrity? Are you really gonna you either come and lay down with me, or you can go to that Sabbath stuff. And if you're weak, right, you can't maintain your damn integrity, you're gonna follow and lust after something that you don't need, man. Right? Whether it's a literal woman, whether it's a doctrine, an understanding, right? It says, then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thine integrity? Right? Curse God, right? Die. Right? So, hey, curse, hey, yeah, man. That's a big thing to say. And that's not really her saying that, right? He was like, why didn't she? Hey, that's a spirit, man. That's on it, right? That's a spirit that's kind of jumped on her, man, to test Job, right? To test if his mind is right, to test if he's gonna retain his integrity, right? That's what that is, man. So reading on, verse 10, what's what Job said. This is what a man of the Lord will say, right? But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of Yahweh, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips? Because we receive good and bad from the Most High, man. Right? That's tribulation, that's blessing, that's righteousness, that's weakness, that's infirmities. That's the different things we can receive, man. And that's the Most High that does it. Don't get it twisted and let your mind be ruined by what Christianity says, right? Because the Lord can do whatever the hell He wants, man. You just have to be in prayer, and ask for forgiveness and pray that the Lord doesn't impute sin unto you, man. Right, and judgment. Because the Lord can, man. You might have lived a few things and seen a few. Think of what the Lord has done to you before, and especially now knowing this understanding, or maybe you're new to that understanding. Do you want to go back to that, man? Right? We get that. Look at Psalms chapter 32. The book of Psalms chapter 32, and I'll start from verse 1. It says, blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. So the Lord will cover your sin, right? But same way, everyone is not David, right? Some guys that they think, yeah, they're David, right? We kind of knew a brother. He tried to, a brother kind of gave him a righteous rebuke, right? Exhortation rather, to both to push him, to exhort him to keep in the spirit, man, because the brother committed that was heinous, right? But brother kind of said what he said, and the brother kind of said he kind of put something up on his story along the lines of, about being David. I wonder what David's men thought. Hey, you're not David, brother. You are not David. Right now you're saying, yeah, I'm David in the regeneration. Right? David was a mighty man. Right? And yes, David fell, but you're not David. Right? Trying to compare yourself to David. Take a touch. Right? It's Psalms 32 and verse 2. It says, blessed is the man unto whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. See that? So the Lord, he can kind of give you a what do you call it, man? Like a freedom pass, man. Right? Those in the UK, you know what a freedom pass is, man. Right? You got your freedom pass, and they kind of let you, okay, yeah, you can kind of get on the bus for free. The Lord might kind of do that for you, man. But hey, man, that's your mind. You know what I'm saying? Right? And I'll read verse 5 as well. Right? Because that's what it's about. You have to, don't think you're gonna sneak past, right? The Lord sees what you do, man. He sees everything that we do. And that's where you can't have a double, right? Say too many precepts now. Right, there you go. Right, see that? Right, you can't have a double mind. right? And yeah, we've been there. We've all been there before, right? Some people just start. Some people don't even like accountability, man. Right? Some people don't even want to look after their wives. People don't want to take correction from anyone. People don't want to, you know, don't want to submit to another man, right? Right? They think they're a meek milk, right? Or they're a boss, right? This is James 1 and verse 8. It says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So if you have that kind of double thinking, man, a double talk, your mind is not good, man. That's why, let's get down. When when you give an oath, man, you gotta be very careful, right? When you give an oath, right? I believe that's in the book of right, maybe, right? But let me see if I can get that. That's why I don't just give an oath and just say stuff, because, man, be able to back up what you're saying or what you do, brother. Right? Don't be unstable. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be there on time, brother. I'm gonna be there. Right? You wanna be sure, right? Look, you can go to Ecclesiastes 5. Right? What we say, hey, be careful, man. Don't be double-minded. Right? This truth is not about being double-minded. It's like driving, man. You want to be decisive about the decision that you make. You make the wrong decision, and God knows what's gonna happen. Right? God knows. Right? This is Ecclesiastes. Right? This whole thing is good. Right? This is Ecclesiastes 5 from 1. It says, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give thy sacrifice to fools, for they consider not that they do evil. See that? So, hey, your brother, you deal with scoffers and, people, hey, they should be more ready to hear, man, than to just give a sacrifice of a fool. You just blabbering and saying whatever, right? They don't know that, they don't consider that they do evil, because they don't even want to hear that. No one can tell them nothing. It says, verse 2, be not rash with thy mouth. So don't be quick to just say, oh, yeah, brother, hey, I can give you £1,000. Right? If you can't do it, hey, keep thy foot, man. Right? It says, and let not thine heart, hey, because does your heart speak? Right? Is this some kind of a Play-Doh movie? Right? Some damn Toy Story 5. Right? Let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh. Right? So, hey, man, out of your heart, a proceedeth evil things, man. Mainly evil things. Oh, well, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be 50 Cent. Right? It says, for Yahweh is in heaven and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few. Hey, sometimes it's good to shut the hell up. Let's put it like that. Sometimes it's better to shut the hell up. It's simple. You don't want to be saying stuff. Sometimes they say, some people say in the world, if you don't have anything nice to say, hey, don't say it. Right? But sometimes the truth isn't nice. Be realistic with what you with the boundaries you set for yourself. It says, for a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by a multitude of words. So, hey, this guy just talking like these comedians, man. The reason why they're so funny is because they talk so much, man. Right? But hey, there's a time and a place for that. You know what I'm saying? But they get paid to do that. They kind of, a fool's voice. They know. Oh, yeah, I heard that joke. That was Chris Rock. Right? It says, verse 4, when thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it. See that? Because, hey, don't be double-minded. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna imagine if Elkanah's wife, you had Hannah, I believe it is. Man, she said, yeah, I'm gonna dedicate this child to you. And then she got to the temple and said, you know what? Nah, I don't want to. Hey, defer not to pay it, man. But he have no pleasure in fools, and you be a fool, right? To damn say, oh, well, I'm not gonna do what I said, man. Pay that which thou hast vowed. So if you say you're gonna do it, hey, do it. Right? It says, verse 5, better is it that thou shouldest not vow. then that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Meaning what? Hey, it's better to actually say, hey, yeah, well, okay, I said I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Then saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, brother. Then the brother calls you, oh yeah, man. So can you, and you start saying, oh nah, man, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it. Well, brother, you said you was gonna do it, right? So be careful, man, with what you say, man, because that's again that goes back to not having integrity in your mind, man. Right? Have some damn integrity, man. Right? So I do have some notes as well. Right? I do have some notes, man. Right? Because I'm put up some videos as well. Right? I'll put up some videos as well. Right? Because the mind is important, man. Right? And even on that note, man, you don't want to get caught up, man, in these watching these wicked things, man. Right? Wicked things, man. Right? Flee. You got, like it says in Colossians 3 and 5, man. Right? Mortify your members. Right? Let me see, man. Because there's a thing, right, in the mind, right? It's called grey matter, man. Right? Let me see. Let me see this fucking, because there's many things that are people they fill their mind with, man. Right? Let me see if I can get this right. I'll pull this up, right? It's quite right. A mature audiences, man. Right? You know, you say, why is his brother going into that? Hey, well, it is what it is. Right? So let's go to the book of, we'll go to Sirach 16. All right, we'll go to Sirach 16. All right. So we gotta be very prudent, right? We gotta be prudent about how about what we let into our mind. Let's say it like that. Right? You gotta be prudent. Don't just be some damn buffoon, man. Right? Here's the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 16, and verse. I start at verse number. Start at verse. Let's see what. Start at verse number 12. This is Sirach 16 and 12. It says, "As his mercy is great, so is his correction also. He judgeth a man according to his works." So a man is judged according to what the hell he does. If a man does dumbness, man, right, then he's gonna be judged according to that dumbness that he done. The man's mind is not right, and the Lord can make you. His correction could be making you to fall by the thoughts that you have, man, and manifest them. Say, hey, yeah, that's what you think about it. Here you go, then, right? You want a Bentley? Yeah, a Bentley's gonna run you over. That's how the Most High will correct you, man. Or you want a Bentley so much, you don't even want to build up the tabernacle of the Most High. You want to build up my the congregation. And the Most High will send a Bentley and say, "Oh, you want that Bentley so much? Here you go, then, man." You leave work, right? A Bentley hits you, man. Right? That's correction, man. It says he judgeth a man according to his work. So, hey, man, we your mind. It's also your mind. It says, no idea why I done that. It says, verse 13. It says, "The sinner shall not escape with his spoils, and the patient of the godly shall not be frustrated." Right? So, hey, the sinner, the mind is all over the place. Hey, he's not gonna escape, man. He ain't gonna get away. Right? He's not gonna get away one bit, man. Right? You know, kind of had a point here. It says, the Most High can do anything, anyway, at any and every second. Pride overthrows your mind, putting yourself more into the position of that happening to you. You know, So, hey, like pride again. That's a thought, man. Thinking that you're high and mighty. Hey, the Lord will shut that down. Right, the Lord will shut that down. Right, see that. So this is First Samuel. Right, that's what we call a free ball, right there. This is First Samuel 2:3. It says, "Talk no more, so exceeding proudly." So don't be, yo, I'm the best. I'm the best teacher in Israel. No one's better than me, right? I get all the likes, right? You know, they buy my books. I'm selling the stuff, right? Calm down. Just let no arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Right? So the most are kind of say, all right, let's see then. I'll put you in position. Let's see then. Let's see how proud you want to be now. It says, verse 4, the vows of mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girt with strength, man. Right? So the mighty man, he can say, I'm the best, and you can think. That's the thing. You don't be humble, man. Sit down. Don't think that you're above anyone. Or obviously you have rank and structure, but even those guys, there's somebody that kind of they get wisdom and knowledge from too, man. Right? It says, verse 5. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren have borne 7, and she that have child is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive; he bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. So, hey man, the Lord has the ability to shut down your pride, man. Right? And that could all come from what, man? Up here, man. It could all come from your mind, man, and the things that you think, man. The Most High can really do that to you. So don't think that the Most High, the Most High will let it happen, right? Let's get that. The Most High will let it happen, for a time. Jake, yeah, I made it. I done it. You haven't made it, man. You're enjoying that season of sin, man. Right? Because your mind, again, it goes back to your mind, man. Right? But let's go into the Lord, right? Let's go into Deuteronomy 8, right? And I'll go to verse number 16. I'll start from. This is Deuteronomy. See that? I've got to start a bit further up. So this is Deuteronomy 8, and I'll start from verse 11. It says, beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, man. And when you forget the Lord thy God, right? Quick precept, right? What's that called, man? That's a thought. That's pride. When you forget the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Shai, that is pride, man. Right? This is Ecclesiasticus, right? Or Sirach, right? Ecclesiasticus 10 and verse 12. The pride, it's like the beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahweh and his heart is turned away from his maker. So does that mean your heart turned around? It doesn't mean that, man. That's talking about what, man? Your mind, man. Your mind is what? Saying, no. I'm better than the Most High. Right? I'm better than him. I'm gonna show him. That's pride, man. And the way that starts from your mind, right? I want to have a quick preset. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew, rather Mark, actually. Right, let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 7. I'm going to read verse number. We'll start at verse number 19. I believe. Let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 7, and verse number 18. We'll start, right? And it reads, Mark 7 and 18. And he saith unto them, are ye so without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? This is not, and again, your mind is bad if you think that Yahweh Shai, right? Who people ignorantly call Christ, Jesus Christ rather, right? He's not saying, okay, yeah, go pick up a bacon sarnie and eat that. No, right? He says, and the context of this is talking about unwashing hands, man. It's nothing to do with eating whatever the hell you want, right? So it's nothing to do with food. If you think that your mind is bad, it's just because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, right? And go out into the drought, purging all meats, right? Meaning what, man? The foods, things that you eat, it doesn't go up into here, right? It goes into your belly, it's digested, and whatever happens, happens, right? It says enter not. It says because it entereth not into his heart, because your heart, is deceitful above all things. Your mind. So I said about in Deuteronomy 7 or 8 about forgetting. It says, beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God. Right? Because when you forget that the Lord thy God in doing what? In not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes which I command you this day, hey, that's gonna lead to, in Ecclesiastes 10 and 12, the pride, man. That's a sign of pride. And that's what, man? That's what something that's affecting the heart, which is the mind. Right? It says in Mark 7 and 20 now, it says, and he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. So what comes out of the man, right? Because then, and even if that's the case, man, right? Doesn't food come out, right? So what? Does that defile them? So anyway, man, just you know what I'm saying, right? If you understand, right? If you have ears to hear. And he said that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man, right? From within, out of the heart of men, so out of man's mind, proceeds evil thoughts, right? Adulteries, fornications, murders, right? These are evil, wicked things, man, right? Eating pork as well, it should be on this list, right? Eating pork, right, is an evil thought, right? Eating pork and unclean foods, right? Not wearing modest apparel, freak off. That's fornications though. But these are evil thoughts, and sometimes it might be out of ignorance, right? Sometimes it can be out of ignorance, man. You know, but once you know, that's an evil thought to go contrary to what the Most High is saying, right? It says, verse 22, theft, covetousness, right? Covetousness, that's that illicit desire, desiring something that's not yours, like it says in Exodus 20 and 17. Something that's not yours. Yeah, I need that. I want that. I want that, brothers. But hey, that's off, man, to even have the thought, man. That's not yours. Mind your business, man. Right? It says wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and what? Defile the man. But these things, they defile your mind, man. Right? You know, that's why you have to be sanctified, man. Right? You got to be clean, right? You got to be clean, man, and made new, right? This is Ephesians chapter 5. And let's start at verse number 20. Let's start off Ephesians 5 and 25. Husbands, love your wife, even as Yahushua also loved the church. So, hey, man, if you're a husband, hey, love your woman, right? And loving your woman is what? Looking after her. That's called accountability. You lay down with that woman, hey, that's your wife, according to the Bible. Right? Ain't no getting around it. Okay, we missed this step. Hey, that's it. Be accountable now. Be a man. Grow up. Right? As Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might what? Sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Right? So that's what the word will do to you. It will cleanse you and make you new, man. Right? But hey, when you're around certain people, man, hey, they don't tell you, hey, I remember, hey, growing up, man, in the UK, man, hey, there's certain things that were just horrific, right? So this is I'm gonna show you this video, right? So this video, right? So this video is going into the effects of pornography on the mind and what pornography does to the mind, right? So I'm gonna play the video, right, and kind of it's like a minute, but I think it's good, man, right? Right. So hey, man, this isn't something we should be doing whatsoever because again, right, that is what covetousness, right? That's lasciviousness, right? That's the evil eye, right? That's foolishness. That's fornication, right? That's just right illicit, right? Salakia, brother said can't hear. Right, let's see if I got to do the sharing thing or whatever with this, man. Right, but I'll play it again. The water, right? The water again, brother. Let me know. Right. So we'll play again.
The brain is a fascinating machine.
Can you hear that? All right, can you hear that? All right, let's see if you can hear that. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? What played just then?
The brain is a fascinating machine, really.
In terms of brain plasticity, everything that we do each and every day shapes our brain.
We call it neuroplastic. Just as plastic is changeable and malleable, we can change the shape of the brain.
And I actually did a study recently on this. So we put people in the scanner and we looked at their brain structure and associated this brain structure with the amount of pornography they consume. So basically we found in our study that the gray matter in the reward center is generally smaller in those people who watch more porn.
We've seen that with multiple addictions.
Right, see that? So, again, we don't condone that. And if you done, you repented, or repent if you're doing that, man. You put it as straight as that, right? You repent. Yeah, simple, right? You got to be sanctified with the word, man, right? Because that's a low vibration thing, man, right? It's not in your nature to do that, right? So that's something from within in Mark 7:21, which is that's an evil thought, man. It's a fornication, right? And that's adultery, right? That's adultery because that's adultery, man. You're looking at somebody's mother, right, who's married to someone, right, and saying and thinking God knows what, right? You're thinking God knows what, right? This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 27. It says, "Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery." Right? This, that's in the book of Matthew 5, right? Matthew 5, right? Because I'm not sharing that screen, but it's Matthew 5 and 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. Right? That Christians have, not all, right? They have a bad mind, right? The New Testament is referring back to the law. You can't commit adultery, but you can eat pork. Right? That makes zero sense. Right? This is Matthew 5 and 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Right? Because what? That's what damn that folly is, man. Right? You're looking at what the hell are you looking at? Right? You're looking at God knows what, man, and saying, yeah, God, that's off, man. Right? That's you just like a damn combination of sins, man. Right? That's a combo of sin, right? All in one, like a damn happy meal, right? You damn lusting after somebody's wife, fornication, right? Evil thoughts, right? Lasciviousness, right? Covetousness, right? It's a 5-piece, right? It's a 5-piece, a nugget now, right? But we'll read on. So wait, hold on. It says about gray matter, right? I'll pull it up as well. We'll finish the video.
Methamphetamine to cocaine, others, and now with pornography addiction. It's almost as if the brain is saying, I like pleasure, but you're killing me. This is too much.
My hypothesis was that the
So it says, but firstly, for single brothers or even single sisters, hey, seek the kingdom first, man. Most High will add onto you, what needs to be added onto you. Don't try and force the course of a river and say, "Well, I need a ring now. I need a husband now," right? Because that kind of desire, right? That can really make you fall, man. Right? So you gotta start slow. You can't just say, "Well, set your mind on the kingdom and above, man." Right? Don't let your mind, right, and your carnal mind overthrow the things of the spirit. Right? Because obviously, it's good that a wife and a husband, right, should come together, man. Right? No, that's all praise to the Most High. But don't don't just come together just for the sake of your carnal desires, man. Right? Don't be ravished in your mind. Every time you see a woman, like you damn Holofernes, I believe, man, in the book of Judith. Right?
the ventral striatum and the rewards regions should be bigger in those people watching pornography, and it's exactly the other way around. So
Were you shocked?
yes.
There is solid research to show that brain functioning changes. The more you watch pornography, that you can get a blip up when the pornography is totally new, but totally new soon becomes old as you watch that.
People need to watch more or get more interesting and novel stuff to get the same level of activity in the reward system.
So it's a paradox. When it starts out, the porn is turning you on, and the more porn you watch, the less likely you are to get aroused.
Which seems to indicate that the normal, regular thing you were used to isn't sufficient anymore.
The one.
Right, so point being, man, is that this whole thing that they pornography, right, that will just jam you the hell up, right? Because let's look at this gray matter, right? You see, they mentioned that your gray matter in your brain, right? And your brain, they say your brain, it changes, say like it's this size. My brain, apparently, they say it's this size, whatever they say, right? But there's different parts in the brain that are used for different things, right? There's a part in the brain that deals with the fight or flight, right? It deals with this emotion and this and your hunger, etc., man. So your gray matter, right? They say that they said that the gray matter in your brain, right, it can get small, right? You're destroying your gray matter, right? So it says, and that's that's your mind, man. So if your mind is just stuck on folly, man, right, and sin, right, you're not gonna gain any wisdom, man. But let's read this first. It says, gray matter is a major component of the central nervous system, primarily consistent of neuronal cell bodies, dendrites, and synapses. It is found on the surface of the brain and deep within the brain in areas like the cerebellum and brainstem, right? I'm gonna jump in. It says gray matter is crucial for processing information, controlling movement, and various cognitive functions. So, hey, imagine that now. That's jamming up your brain, right? You're just freaking off, man. And your brain is losing the function to what, man? To even inherit wisdom, man. Right? So, like wisdom of Solomon, like Solomon said here, man, if your mind is just jammed up on that, hey, there's no way in hell you're gonna even catch these precepts, man. You're gonna catch what? Judgment, right? Yeah, that's me, right? Shalakia, right? So it's wisdom of Solomon 1 and 3. It says, "For forward thoughts separated from Yahweh, and his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise." So if your mind is just thinking about right, thinking about what money, cars, right, the things of the world, right, etc., and then well, you're never gonna get close to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You're always gonna be a backup dancer, right? And you're not gonna escape, right? You're not gonna get away. So reading on, it says, "For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin." So if your body is just subject unto just folly, you're not gonna be able to build up, right? You're not gonna be able to grow, man. You're not gonna be able to grow in righteousness. You're just gonna be a low level Israelite, right? Or right, man. You're gonna be a low level Israelite, man. Right, in righteousness, man. Your faith's gonna be low because you're gonna be comfortable and complacent, right? Because what your mind is bad, man. Right, and that them thoughts, they start from the mind, right? The mind is the thing that controls that, man. That's why it says about you can't faint, right? But I was gonna get Deuteronomy 8. I'll go back to Deuteronomy 8 and I'll start at verse number 7. So like Deuteronomy 8, and I'll start from verse 11. It says, "Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God in keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I commanded this day." So we shouldn't forget that, because when we forget that, what is that, man? That's pride. When we forget the Most High, when we forget Yahweh Shai, these things, they are a doorway and entry for pride, man. It says, "Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwell therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up." What's that? That's pride, right? When your heart is lifted up, that's pride. That's like Esau, man, right? And Esau is a trickster, man. He'll tell you, ask your Edomite pastor about Obadiah, right? You say he pride is lifted up, man, and your dumb self, and you believe him, right? But it says, "And thou hast forgotten the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, which is bondage, from the house of bondage," right? "Who led thee." So see, look at what the Most High done for us, man, right? He brought us out from the land of Egypt and from the house of bondage. "Who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and a drought, where there was no water. Who brought forth water out of the rock of flint," right? And that rock, right, for you OT only, man, and that's Christ, right? The living waters come out of that rock, right? It says, "Who fed thee," right, "in the wilderness." So hold on. These are all the things that the Most High, or Shimi Shai, done for us, right, in leading us out of Egypt, out of bondage, right? These are why we can't forget the Most High, man. Shimi Shai, we can't forget him, right? We can't forget his mighty works, right, that he's done through his mighty hand, man. Right? It says, "Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee," right? So the Most High, he will humble you, man, right? "And that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of my hand have gotten me this wealth." No, you did not. The money you have in your account, the clothes you have, Hey, that's not of yourself, man. The Most High allowed you to be in that position. You didn't do it yourself, man. You know, you did not do that yourself. Most High is letting you breathe oxygen that you can't see, man. Letting you exist, right? That's the Most High that's done that. There's a creator, not a creation, right? Worshipping damn objects, man. People worship objects, man. Some people worship Mary, right? Your mind is bad. You worship a damn right. See that? But hey, this is the book, man. Right? Hey, this is Wisdom of Solomon 13, and I'll start at verse number I'll start at 10. But miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope. See that in dead things, man. Right? And you know, obviously, you know, you have righteous women in the scriptures, but we don't worship Mary, man. But we don't worship Mary. Right? I see some of these videos, man. Some of these denominations, whatever the hell they are, man. They'll carry like these objects, man. They're somewhere in Europe, and they'll say, look, this is some idol, man. She says, and in dead things is their hope. So in things that are dead, right? That's their hope, man. Who called them gods, which are the works of men's hands. Well, gold and silver to show art in, and resemblances of beasts, or a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. So this is idolatry. You know, this is a bad mind to worship an object, man, right, and not the creator. Right, that's a bad mind, right, and that's ordained from the beginning, man. Right, you being in that, having that mindset, that's something you've been ordained to do from the beginning, man. Right, naturally. Right, because what am I? You are weak, man. Right, you couldn't say no to Satan. Right, but now you should have the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, man, covering you and making you new, man, day by day, dying daily. Right, you gotta fast, you gotta pray. Right, you can't just I'll get through it. You're eating every day, man. You don't have no means of subduing your carnal thought. You just say, keep going. People that eat every day, they're gonna get sick, man. Right? You gotta fast, man. Right? This is, I'm gonna get another precept, but I read this first. This is Mark chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 15. It says, and these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown, but when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately. Right? And that's how Satan works, man. And Satan knows who's the ones that are weak, man. He knows that you've got to take it up a notch for certain people, man, because their spirits are more governed well in righteousness through the faith that they have. Some people have just no integrity, man. Oh, do you want to smoke a spliff with me? Yes, fine, go on. Right, no integrity, man. You kind of look at them. Do I do that? I keep it moving. You don't do that no more, man. Right? This is reading on. It says, but when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. So, having that kind of mindset, man, don't be offended by, your own way, man, right? Because you hear something you don't like, you kind of feel a way about it, right? Don't have a weak mind, man, right? Imagine the apostles, man, they were kind of Christ, but he got on them. And do you think, there's sometimes where they turn away, kind of go home, right? Like, who's this guy, man? But hey, man, that's the living waters. We always have to go back to that, man. That's the foundation. That's what your foundation should be built on, man. Right? If your foundation ain't built on that, then what is it built on, man? It's built on your own understanding. Right? And you don't want to have a foundation built upon your own understanding. Right? This is First Timothy. So like, yeah. Now it's the book of First Timothy, chapter 2. And I'll start at verse number 19. 2 Timothy 2 and verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of your house standeth sure, having the seal. Right? So for the people that believe in the mark of the beast, what is a physical seal? Right? Having the seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Hamashiach depart from iniquity. So if you're naming the name of so-called Jesus Christ, right, and you got to depart from a wickedness, man, because that's what's going to keep your mind at a lower state. That's what's going to keep you in the belly of the world, man, in hell. That's what's going to do to you, man. That's what it's going to do to you if you don't have integrity, you don't have boundaries, you don't have rules, you don't have regulations on how you govern yourself, you don't have instruction. Well, what do you expect, man? We don't have order. Well, people will tell you, well, we're doing this today. But you got to be simple like Jacob. And simple means, in the context of what is said about Jacob in Genesis, means to be complete. Right? This is Proverbs 9 and 9. It says, give instructions to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. So a just man is a man that's going to go, oh, all right, and he will take that on board, man. And he has instruction, he's going to be wiser. Oh, the Sabbath day. Oh, no pork. Oh, fringes. Oh, sex is marriage, right? These are instructions, man. These are ways of governing yourself, man, in this truth, man, in these last days, right? Because don't let your mind and what you think deceive you, right? Let's go to the classic. Like your mind can't deceive you, man. Your mind can make you think. God knows, man. God knows what. Right? Your mind. And the mind, man. The mind is actually a very powerful tool. Right? The mind can dictate your performance, man. Like in a boxing match. It can dictate many things. Right? This is Jeremiah chapter 17. And I'm going to start from verse 7. It says, blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is. So trusting in the Most High, that's your hope, man. You trust in yourself, right? Like it says in Proverbs 3 and 5, lean not unto thine own understanding, man. Right? That's when you lean to your own understanding, you start saying things like, well, I'm going to eat pork until I'm convicted. You're going to be convicted and sentenced to death, right? Thus saith the Bible. If you keep going on with that mindset, man, I have to be convicted. Is the Bible not enough? But then again, it's the understanding. You trust in yourself and not the Most High. It says, verse 8, for he shall be planted as a tree by the waters. So like it, for he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. So you're going to blossom, you're going to grow, you're going to increase, you're going to have a strong foundation. Right? It says, verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it, man? So your mind will tell you, man. Right? Your mind was, man. You start, look at how you dream, man. You could dream about something, man. You could be so focused on something to the point where you dream about it. right? And you know, that's you kind of you're dreaming almost like you're manifesting things that you think about, you know, how you want it to play out, right? You gotta be careful, man. Don't let your mind swindle you, man. This is one of my favorite precepts, right? This is Proverbs 23 and I'll start with verse 7. It says, Proverbs 23 and 7, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So how you think in your mind, that's how you just sit there thinking about damn Formula One every day. You just start. I remember when I was a bit younger, my parents would kind of tell me, my parents would tell me, hey man, you're talking in your sleep. Right? They tell me I'm talking in my sleep. They tell me I'm talking about certain games or right. But that's what used to be on my mind, man. Right? So is he, man. Eat and drink, he saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Because his heart is damn thinking about damn robbing your house. Right? Finessing your baby's diapers. That's what his mind is on, man. Because his mind, right, is what is, and your heart is your mind, right? In the context here, right? Your heart is your mind, right? I'm literally talking about your heart is really wicked, man. Who can know how your heart is, man? Who can know it? Right? Who can know it? It says, verse 10, I, the Lord, searched the heart, I tried the reins, even so the Most High, he searches out your mind, man. He knows your thoughts, man. He knows what you're thinking. He knows your next move. It's like a chess game. The Most High already knows what you're going to do. So there's no point trying to, you can't jinnles the Most High and do and trick him. It says, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So the fruit is what you work, man. Right? So you don't want to be a fool, man. Right? And think that you can outsmart the Most High. I used to think like that, man. Maybe I can just you can't. It's not some. This is real life, right? This is real life. You can't outthink the Most High, man. Right? So the mind, man. The mind is something else, right? The mind is a powerful tool, and it needs to be used, man, in righteousness, man. Right? So, and you know, if Jake, man, if Jake knew when he was gonna die, man, right? Or Eve, he wouldn't be doing half the stuff he's doing, man. Right? Let's put that out there. He wouldn't be, man. Right? Because hey, let's get that as well. All right, Sirach 19. Right, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 19, and I'll start from verse number. See that? I'm gonna go to, I guess, 24. Right, we'll get them in the next photo then. Sirach. All right, get this preset. Sirach 23. See that? Where is that, man? Let me get in an apocrypha. There we go. There we go. Sirach 23 and 19. No, Sirach 24 and 19. Right, but all praise to the Most High. Right, so this is the book of Sirach, chapter 23 and 19. It says, such a man only feareth the eyes of men. Right, so men, you know, they care about what man, his carnal being, and his carnal mind thinks. Right, he doesn't care what the Most High thinks, man. I knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret part. So the Most High, he knows secret, man. He knows your secrets, right? Oh, I can keep this one hidden. You kind of say something, but you don't say it out loud. And the Most High can hear that, right? The Most High can hear, if he can hear the prayers of the saints, right, which are taken up, into the heavens, man. You think he can't hear what the hell you say, right? Because your prayers, right, they turned into thunderings, man, right? This is Revelation chapter 8, right, verse 3. It says, and another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. Right. So the incense represents the prayers of the saints. They go up before the Most High. Right. It says, and the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayer of the saints, with the prayer of the saints, ascended up before Yahweh out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. So these prayers, they come up, man. Right? These voices, they come up, man. The Most High. So you think you can just say something, sound you think about the Most High. But he didn't hear that. He didn't hear that. Hey, you heard it, man. Right? Because man, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Right? Esau tell you, they touched the sun. They didn't touch the sun, man. Right? Esau, he's playing with your mind, man, and he'll easily deceive you if you're not smart enough, man. Right? But hey, man, all praises to the Most High Yahweh Bashem Shai. Right? That was just there might be a part 2 on that. But the mind is deceitful above all things, and we have to be wary of that, man, and not be caught out there, man. Right? So every praise to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Right? Shalom. Shalom.